All right, we are live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome from around the world. My name is Kevin Porman, and I have someone very special with me here today. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Alba Rivas, and I'm here with my colleague Kevin. We are going to try to answer all your questions about Lightning Web Components today.
All of
We
them.
have all, almost all of them. We don't know
Yes.
how many, and we are going to use the communication method for this Ask Me Anything session. For that, we are going to use the Trailblazer community. So make sure to ask your questions on the Salesforce Developers group of the Trailblazer community. And we have already some questions coming in, right, Kevin?
Yeah, we do. We've got one from Sanjay. Sanjay Chari wants to know how he can use LWC as custom actions. Now, we thought about this. We talked a little bit about it. We're making a little bit of an assumption that you're actually asking about using a Lightning Web Component inside of a quick action, because that's the interpretation that makes sense to us. So if that's not what you mean, feel free to tell us. But the way you use Lightning quick actions, Lightning Web Components in a quick action is actually one of those breathtakingly simple things to do. Have you ever done this, Alba?
I've created a couple of quick actions for Lightning Web Components. I believe you can create like screen quick actions, right? And also headless quick actions, which is something that comes with this new feature and that I think developers are going to love.
Yeah, I'm looking here. So because this is an AMA and we're doing it through the Lightning Trailblazer community, I want to make sure that all of our answers actually end up there in the Lightning Trailblazer community. However, for right now, we're going to be doing the sort of like live coding thing. So if we have some code we're going to show, it'll be in Visual Studio Code, and then afterwards we'll make sure that they get put into the the Trailblazer community forums under our AMA bit here. So without further ado, let me go over to some code here, and I want to demonstrate what this looks like. I'm going to create a new Lightning Web Component, and go here. File name for a Lightning Web Component is, we'll do quick action demo.
Kevin, do you mind to make your screen a bit bigger because I cannot see it?
I can make my screen bigger.
Thank you.
How's that?
Much better, thank you.
Much better? Okay.
Yeah.
This is why I like working with people during a live stream, because they can tell you things like this. Now let's try that again. Lightning Web Component. I'm going to call this quick action demo, and hit enter. Put it in the default category. All right, and so we get our files created for us here, and there's two things we have to do. The first one is we have to go into the XML here, and we have to create a new target. And so when we do this target thing, targets, and then we can go in here, and I'm going to do the target here, and it's going to be boop, boop. Let me see if I have to capitalize this. Nope. Lightning record action, like that. And when I do that, that exposes this Lightning Web Component to a quick action. I'm also gonna is exposed true. That's also important.
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah, and then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a target config. So target configs, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say target config, and this one, my target is going to be targets equals, and for some reason this time I have to do it in quotes. It's going to be targets equals lightning record action. Again, that's two underscores there, so lightning underscore action, and then I'm going to give it a action type of action.
What's that attribute for, Kevin?
Yeah, so this action type is going to expose this component as an action or a quick action available for the quick action in conjunction with this lightning record action. So these two things together the target config and that there. And let's just make sure I got all my syntax right. I'm going to save it to my dev org here, or to my Scratch org here. Exposing those two things here will allow us this component to show up in a quick action. Now, if we want to, we can also do something like making it a headless action. And if we want to do that, the other thing the thing we have to do is we have to do an @API invoke method. And there's not a lot to it. We can do whatever we want in here, including calling out to Apex or other components, etc. But if we have this API method called invoke, when we do that, we gotta pull in API. Okay, there we go. So if we have that here, whenever that button is clicked, the action button is clicked, we automatically call this invoke method. And this would create a headless or UI-less action. So we're not going to see the component in the quick action screen. It'll just call this code. And so that allows us to have, like, you remember back when we used to have JavaScript buttons?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking these are kind of like the new JavaScript buttons. Well, actually, they are the new JavaScript buttons because they're written in JavaScript. So
they are. So basically, Kevin, these kind of headless actions are going to let you execute JavaScript under the scenes when you click on a button, right?
Yeah, and if we add something to our, or if we just do I can type hello AMAers. We'll save that. If we go to our, I opened up this org here. So if we go, and so one caveat, Lightning Web Components in a quick action only available on a record detail page. So let's go ahead and open up a app here. Come on. The internet is a series of tubes, and today mine are clogged. Well, let me search. Sales. Sales. Okay, great. We'll just go to sales. Yeah, this is weird. And then I'm going to go into an account. Accounts. We'll go to this one, just as a random account. And I'm just going to edit the page, and we'll put our quick action on there, in theory. Come on. Okay. So, let's edit this page. Yes, yes, yes. Now, if we scroll down here, you'll see that we don't actually have our thank you. Okay, lots of pop-ups. Okay. We don't see our component that we just created. Let's make sure that everything's saved okay. So our output, and maybe
you need to include it as part of the quick action when you define the quick action.
Yeah, we definitely, that's what I was going for. We have to, define the quick action first, but I wanted to make sure it had actually saved there. So let's go ahead and go to edit the object. Boom, back.
Yeah, what I mean is that it maybe doesn't appear there because we didn't define target for a builder really. So.
Yep. So we've got our account here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edit the object, and we'll go to, this is our account. So we'll go to, where are my object actions? There we go. And we'll create a new quick action. And let's do Lightning Web Component. And here it is. The only one we have is our quick action demo. That's the one we just created. And we'll call this one, we'll do it a custom label. We'll do quick action demo, because naming is hard. We'll save that. Woot woot. Okay. Back to account here. And I think we have to put it on the page layout, don't we?
Yeah, indeed you can upgrade your layout to dynamic actions, which is kind of similar to dynamic forms, but for actions. And that way you can control where you place your actions directly from a builder instead of having to go to the page layout.
No,
so
I've read about that, but I've never done it. How do you actually go in and do that?
That's on the record page on a builder.
Record page in App Builder. Okay, here we go.
If you click on edit the page to open a builder.
Edit page. Okay, this is exciting. I love it when I get to learn something new too. I'll close that.
If you click on the highlights panel, there you should be able to upgrade to dynamic actions, which is much better because you are going to have full control of everything from App Builder, and you don't have to go back and forth to page layouts.
Loving it. Loving it. Okay, so here are our actions, and where's our quick action demo? I don't see it. Add action. We'll just add action.
Maybe.
Quick action demo.
Yeah, amazing. Done. And do you know something else that you can do with dynamic actions, Kevin?
Tell me.
You can add filters to individual actions. So for example, if you want to show this demo action only if certain conditions are true, for instance, if a field value is true or if the profile for the user is system administrator, I don't know, you can add a filter to individual action, and that is something that can be done now thanks to dynamic actions, and that couldn't be done before with the classic actions. So it's a really cool feature as well.
That is cool. Let's see here. Now I add it. Here's our quick action demo. Boom.
Yeah.
I hit it.
Nothing happened? Remind me, which code did you write? Because
it's supposed to just say hello world. Oh, there it is. Hello AMAers.
Oh.
Interesting. Interesting. If I hit it again, does it do it again? Nope, just once there. Okay. But it did call the invoke method. Of course, it's not doing anything. It's just commented out. So aside from the placement of your object, your placement of your text there, that is the basic, the recipe for using a Lightning Web Component in a quick action. And actually, come to think of it, maybe we should add this to Lightning Web Components recipes, or do we have one?
We don't. Indeed, today I added a task suggesting to do that, like to add a screen action and a headless action, because that's going to help people definitely. Indeed, I was taking a look at quick actions before, and I realized that for screen actions, there are also some things that you need to bear in mind. For instance, if you want to have a close button, that's something that you need to implement yourself.
Gotcha.
That's in the documentation. And well, there are a few details to know about Lightning Web Components actions that are improving the experience that we had with Orang actions. And I'm going to take advantage of this moment to announce that I'm going to do an interchange session. Interchange is a series that we have been doing with members from the community, developers that are very active normally in the community and that know a lot about certain topics. And I'm going to do an interchange session with Fabien Taillon, who is an MVP from France, and it's going to be about quick actions, because Fabien has a really great blog post explaining the differences between Orang actions and LWC actions and how things have improved since we have this feature available.
Now, when is this?
I recommend you to... it's going to be at the end of this month. It's not published yet, but if you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, you are going to get the announcement. And if you follow us on Twitter, Kevin, myself, or the Salesforce Developer Twitter handle, then you are going to see it announced as well.
Now, I don't mean to give you a hard time, but the end of the month is tomorrow.
I mean the end of the next month.
Okay, the end of October. Okay, good.
Of October.
Good. Okay, good.
I live in the future.
You are ahead of me. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we get down to some really important questions. Alba, how do I get an accent that is as cool as yours?
You have to practice a lot. You can watch my videos or you can watch Julian videos.
Oh.
By the way, Julian's accent is super different to my accent. Some people don't know if you are not native, but we speak really different Spanish, and you can learn from there.
Cool. Cool. Okay, so we have a little bit of a follow-up question to our first one. And I'm going to spare everyone my bad accents. But our follow-up question is, can you please, is it possible to show module in center of the page when you use LWC Quick Action Headless? And I think the person asking the question, and I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name, who asked this. Is it possible to show module in center, like as a modal, maybe like a modal window, when you're using the headless quick action? And I think, and I'd have to go experiment with this. In fact, we can just do this real quick. I think what happens is you're either headless or you're not. So if I were to get rid of this, invoke, and save this.
Yeah, I think you need to change the metadata file, Kevin, because the action type,
if we were to go
in your metadata type.
Okay, I have lost the audio on Alba. Can somebody tell me whether or not we still have audio on Alba? Because it could just be that my glorious headphones have decided to die on me. This is how you know it's live. Okay, so I'm going to reload this page.
Can you hear me now?
I cannot hear Alba.
No.
Christy says we can hear you, so that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Which means it's on my end. 1 second. Yeah, so... Okay. 1 second here. I think my battery died on my headphones.
Oh. Okay, meanwhile, I'm going to continue talking about this question that we have been asked, because you can indeed create an action that has a screen, right? Those kind of actions are called screen actions, and I'm going to tell Kevin in a moment that he needs to type to action. So basically we have two kind of actions, and that's what we are going to demo in a second when Kevin is able to recover the battery for his headphones. See a couple of questions, and they are great. We are going to work them in a second because we have still 40 minutes to respond them. And I hope that you can hear my audio meanwhile we recover from this problem.
Testing, 1, 2.
Can you hear me now, Kevin? Okay, Christy can hear me.
It seems we have lost my audio, maybe. And I definitely can't hear Alba. We can hear Kevin now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
And I can see Alba is talking, but I can't hear her.
No.
Because testing, 1, 2. Alba, maybe.
Yeah, what happens?
Christy says she can hear both of us.
Yeah, but Kevin
awesome.
can't hear me.
I can't hear Alba though, so I don't want to talk over her. So let's do this. Alba, you had another follow-up question on this first one, and then what I'd like to do is I'm going to answer this follow-up, and then I'll hand it off to you for our second question. I'll read the question, and you can start talking about it if you don't mind, because it's right up your alley.
Okay.
While I try to figure out why I can't hear you, because I want to be able to hear Alba. She has the cool accent. Okay, so the follow-up question is, somebody said, Tala Yildiz says, there is not currently a way to do the modal windows from a Lightning Web Component in a quick action. And I thought that was the case, but I wasn't positive. Tala, thanks for putting that out there. Her question is an LWC modal component planned from our side? And unfortunately, while I know lots of things, I don't know, I can't speak to the product roadmap for our LWC components as quick actions. I don't have an answer to that. What I can do is I can gently poke the product owner and see if they're willing to say something in a public forum that might be canonical. But until then, we're going to have to live into that unknown and work with that. In the meantime, let's hand it over to Alba. Alba, our second question is, somebody named Ashke Padar would really like to know more about Lightning Web security architecture for LWC. And I say this is right up your alley because if I remember correctly, didn't you speak on Lightning Web security just a few days ago in Release Readiness Live?
Yeah,
nodding,
well,
so I think I can see the nod. Why don't you take over and talk about that for a little bit here while I beat my audio to
okay.
death here. Let me switch over to your screen.
Thank you.
Here we have Alba.
Okay, so yeah, Lightning Web Security. So what is Lightning Web Security? Lightning Web Security is
broadcast system just crashed. So let's try this again. Alba, you were talking about Lightning Web Security. I see your screen. I see you. I can hear you. Hopefully everyone else can as well. And let's move on from there.
amazing. Thank you, Kevin. So yes, I was talking about Lightning Web Security. Lightning Web Security is the new client-side architecture for Lightning Web Components. You are probably familiar with Lightning Locker, right? Lightning Locker has been the security shield we have had for Lightning components during the last years, right? And Lightning Locker has been super effective, but in some cases, it was hard to implement some of the functionality that our customers need because Lightning Locker was super restrictive, right? With Lightning Web Security, we have a new architecture that relaxes those restrictions. And how do we do that? Well, this new security architecture has been implemented following TC39 standards. What we are doing is to use something called JavaScript sandboxing, and basically what happens is that your components run individually in individual JavaScript sandboxes, and that prevents one component from accessing the internals of components in other namespaces, protecting us against cross-site scripting attacks and other common vulnerabilities, but it's more open in what regards to implementing functionality in Lightning Web Components. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So first of all, this is the note that came into the Salesforce Winter 22 release notes that explains everything that I'm going to share today. Okay, here you have how to activate Lightning Web Security. This is a beta. Remember that beta features are not GA, so that means that the feature may change or may be unstable at some point, but you can start playing with Lightning Web Security if you want to. Lightning Web Security is going to apply for now just to Lightning Web Components. And here, for instance, I have a Winter 22 org in which I can activate this new Lightning Web Security architecture, right? That's going to be in session settings. So which things I'm going to be able to do with Lightning Web Security that I was not able to do with Lightning Locker? Well, For that, I have been searching for some questions on the Salesforce Stack Exchange because there some customers have posted problems or restrictions that they had when using Lightning Locker. For instance, this question says, not being able to reference a package custom Lightning Web component from other Lightning Web components outside the package. This problem happened with Lightning Locker, but with Lightning Web Security, that is not going to happen anymore. For instance, if I install here in this organization, I install a package, okay? Install package.